Hey everyone, my name is Ileana, and as this video title suggests, I'm going to be sharing about how I knew I was pregnant with twins before my first doctor's appointment. No, this isn't a video about like crazy symptoms that I experienced that kind of told me that I was gonna have twins. It's nothing like that. So if you're a mom, expecting mom that's like looking for the signs that means that you're having twins, this isn't necessarily that kind of video. This is about how actually my 4-year-old son, he was actually the one who told us that we were having twins. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'm gonna go ahead and elaborate more. And just to give you some background, this is my first video that I'm publicly posting about my twin pregnancy journey. I've been documenting every little thing about it because my husband and I are super fascinated by twins in general, specifically the kind that we have, and I am going to go into that a little bit too. But we just find it super fascinating and a blessing, and so we wanted to record and document every single piece of this experience. And now I'm choosing to actually put these videos out because I realize I have been learning a lot, and I think that it would be really helpful. And if you hear some noises in the background, that is my dog. She's a cane corso, and she is obsessed with being right next to me or her dad. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. It was the night before, no, I'm just kidding. But it was maybe like 2 weeks prior to my first OB appointment, which means I was about 6 weeks pregnant, when my son came into my bed in the morning and told me about his dream, which he never does. He never says, you know, recalls his dreams and shares them with me. I didn't even know that he was actually aware of the fact that he knew what dreams were. So anyway, he was like, Mom, I had a dream that you were carrying a baby girl and I was carrying a baby boy. And that was all he said. And I was like trying to like, you know, get more information out of him. And I was like, was it like the baby that's in here? You mean there was two? And he's like, yeah. And you know, I'm just like, wow, what, that would be wild. And we joked about it for a couple weeks, basically leading up to the appointment. I think I remember actually it was the day before my appointment. We were leaving church and I was walking to the car, and we both have sedans, we don't have trucks. So we were walking to the car and I was just thinking to myself, like, you could really go from 1 to 3 kids in one pregnancy. And I thought that was crazy. And I was thinking about all the like quick adjustments that you'd have to make, hence the car and things like that. Yeah, I remember saying that, and again, just joking about it, like more so astonished by the idea of twins. So again, we entertained the idea for those 2 weeks leading up to the appointment. At my ultrasound appointment, Lamar came with me, my husband, and the ultrasound tech hadn't even started yet, but I asked her, I was like, is it too early? I was 8 weeks pregnant. I was like, is it too early to see if you have multiples at this point? And she was like, no, why? And I was like, cause our son had a dream that we had twins, and we've been joking about it, but you know, obviously it's been on our mind. And so now we're just curious to see, but I'm sure it's one. Like, we were both so sure, like, what are the odds, you know, that they were actually going to be twins? It would just be crazy. And then as soon as she put, I don't know what this is called, but the piece of the ultrasound that goes on your actually it was a transvaginal ultrasound, so I was going to say on my stomach, but I won't make this graphic. So as soon as she inserted the ultrasound tool, she was like, well, your son was right. It was like a millisecond after, like she saw right away. And Lamar and I just looked at each other and we're like, what? And I actually wasn't thinking to record at that point. Again, we decided to record everything after we found out we were having twins, but I was like, give me your phone, I need to record this is crazy. So I start recording, and actually I'll let you guys just watch. So there's twins, there's 2.
So here's one baby, and then here's the other baby here. So you can see the heart flickering there on the one.
Goodness.
And there's the heart beating there on the other.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. This is like movie type stuff. You don't even like. What?
So as you can see, we were super shocked. I actually started crying and laughing at the same time. I think that's probably a natural shock response. But nonetheless, I was like, this is cool. I'm really pregnant with twins. Like, that is insane. It's even more insane that my son prophesied this, basically. It's just all wild. So since then, we've been telling this story to friends and family, you know, as we had been announcing that we're pregnant, but also pregnant with two. But I do really think God allowed us to wrap our brains around the idea, and we're very happy. We feel very blessed. Also, for those that know us, know that we just got married, and so we just got married August of 2021, and then got pregnant in October of 2021. So not much time had passed of being married. Granted, we already have one son, but it wasn't necessarily in the plans to get pregnant that early. And so that's why it's just funnier, because it's like God was like, two of them, you know? I think what's super neat is that at that ultrasound visit, they were already able to tell that the twins were identical, which it hadn't even crossed my mind, you know, like we're not used to being parents of multiples. So I was like, oh yeah, that is a thing. There's like fraternal and then there's identical. But what we didn't know is that even within the category of identical, there are different types of identical twins. And so we were able to learn a lot actually at that first visit. Now granted, most of these things were just estimates made by the OB, still wanting, you know, the head sonogram tech to revise our ultrasound and confirm the details that they were seeing at that first visit. Yeah, there was a lot of information all at once, and we were like, wait a second, like we know nothing. I hate it to be as ignorant as I was, but I was totally expecting a singleton, which is a new term that I've adapted into my vocabulary. I was totally expecting a singleton pregnancy, which I felt I had, you know, nailed in terms of being as educated as I could be for myself. And yet it was like, nope, surprise twins, totally different. Everything that you planned, throw it out the window, because there's a lot more to this. So some of you may already know the differences in terms. Some of you might be moms, expecting moms that have monodied twins, but basically our twins are identical and they are monochorionic diamniotic, meaning they are in one chorion and they have two different amniotic sacs. It's a better scenario than if they shared the same placenta and shared the same sac, but it's still considered a high risk scenario because they share a placenta. So it's, you know, we're kind of like in between, but still being closely monitored. At that first ultrasound visit, they actually weren't able to tell just yet if they were mono twins. And so for a hot second, my husband and I were pretty much getting our minds prepared to find out that news if they were, which I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared if they were going to be mono twins, just because there's a lot of risk and not a lot of trained OBs in each state. And I live in Chicago, and usually there's only like 2 women with these type of pregnancies per year. So I was a little worried, not that I wouldn't have a successful pregnancy, you know, I didn't want to have that kind of negative mindset, but more so that that I wasn't going to have an OB that was well versed in that type of pregnancy, and we'd have to, you know, do a lot of research and probably commute to get that kind of care, because there wasn't a lot in Chicago from what I could tell. So there was a short period of time where we were just considering all scenarios, since at the time the doctor couldn't really tell if there was a membrane splitting up the babies. She could tell that they came from one egg, but not too long after, there was confirmation that our twins were in separate sacs. That news and information did still require us to see a high-risk specialist for a consultation, and eventually be transferred under her care, mainly due to the fact that there are still a lot of risks that come with twins that share the same placenta. One is that, you know, you could have too much blood supply going to one twin and not the other. That's called twin TTTS. And if you have monodi twins, you probably already know what that means. So now that I've been under the care of a high specialist doctor in the maternal fetal medicine, you know, unit or department, part of my treatment plan, my prenatal treatment plan, is to see that specialist every 4 weeks and then get ultrasounds done every 2 weeks. Basically, we're monitoring the growth of the babies, keeping a close eye on the general anatomy of my uterus, so everything that's in it, the placenta, where the cords attach. There's a lot to it, and so I do want to be able to share that information for moms that are seeking out what kind of care they're going to get with these kinds of twins, or at least what kind of care I'm getting and expecting to get based on my research. For the record, I'm at University of Chicago for my prenatal care, which is a great hospital to deliver in. They have a birth center, so especially if you're interested in midwifery, they do offer midwives throughout your entire pregnancy. In my scenario, I am getting a different kind of, you know, prenatal care plan, but they do offer that for, I'm sure, fraternal twins that don't really show a lot of risk. I'm 15 weeks tomorrow. Why is this a celebration? Because I am in the second trimester and things have gotten better. I used to have really bad nausea. I still kind of do, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not as bad. And I think that was due to me having like super high incense of smell. Right now I still do, but it's not as bad. Like there would be literal times where, this is kind of graphic, but like if my son farted, I felt like I was like eating his fart. Like it was so prominent and every smell was so bothersome. Like I hated the smell of food. Now I can tolerate it. Like one thing I hated before was onions. Now I can smell onions and I'll be fine. So yeah, there's like some progress. And the other one that was really kicking my butt was extreme fatigue. I was falling asleep at like 7:30 p.m. sometimes if I didn't take a nap. And now I can last till 10. Progress. Again, New Year's Eve, fell asleep at 10:30. So I'm very proud of how we're progressing. I think these twins are just, they take a toll on your body. They suck out a lot of your energy and nutrients and things like that. So I'm excited to keep everybody posted on my journey and just for myself. These videos also serve a purpose for me, kind of like a little, you know, vlog for myself, because I do enjoy writing, but this I think has more value when you can look back and reflect on how you looked and the different videos of the ultrasounds and things like that. So I'm excited to be able to share more, and for friends and family watching, love you guys. I'll see you next time.